How going, you guys? Yeah, welcome to my video. Today, I'm gonna, whenever, wherever, I'm not you, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna be providing some tips and tricks that help me personally with combat in ESO. In order to do that, I had to go back to the beginning. I had to become a noob, which was actually pretty fun. But anyways, here's that experience in story form.
I caught the ugly!
Okay, story's over. For real though, I put myself in the shoes of a noob and played a couple battleground matches. And I'm gonna review over what I did wrong and how I could improve. So straight out of the gate, I can already tell I haven't messed with my settings at all. The fix to this abominable setup is very easy. It's called options. If at this point you haven't messed at all with any of your options, you should. Go and look through each of these things and determine what is best for you to have on, off, the colors, everything. More specifically, the combat options. Those are very important, and I always have everything turned on. If you're on PC or a next-gen console, you should definitely have your graphics set to performance over fidelity any day. You'll notice the difference immediately. And by far the biggest thing for newer players that they don't normally do is they never zoom their camera out. By zooming your camera out, you have better FOV of everything going on around you, and more information is always better, especially when you're in combat. It's like you got eyes in the back of your head. Oh nice, we're feeling good, we're happy. Oh, it looks good too.
Can I make a cream pie?
No, whoa there. Slow down there, son. Tell me what's wrong with this clip.
Lag? Lag?
No. While lag definitely exists in ESO, it is not responsible for this death. Thanks to our new settings, we can see our buffs bar right there above our health. And taking just 1 second to look at it would have told us that one of our sets that we're wearing, Mechanical Acuity, has proc. So instead of holding block, use your ultimate. This would have been empowered by Mechanical Acuity had you had used it there, and it would have stunned both of them, knocking them down and allowing you to have the upper hand. Learn from this. It's good to go back and watch the clips of you dying. You learn through death in this game. We can't say it enough. Don't be afraid to die. It's just a game. It's not real life. There's nothing at stake there.
But I don't know what that set does.
Let me tell you something right now, son. Take the time to read the tooltips of the gear and the skills on your bar so you know what they do. And as for those little pictures above your health bar, you can always go to your character menu and scroll down, and you'll be able to read exactly what they do and see what icon is associated with them.
Oh gee, I feel smarter already.
Great! Now we gotta put it into practice. Oh come on, it's not that hard. In fact, we're already here! Welcome to Vivek's Antlers. There are a bountiful number of places you can go to practice your combat in ESO. You can even practice on the battlegrounds of Cyrodiil, in the battlegrounds of Battlegrounds, or in the Imperial City, but I wouldn't recommend that at first because you'll get frustrated trying to learn there after getting killed repeatedly. And you may be saying, but that just contradicts what you just said. I said at first, so once you get confident with your skill and rotation, take to those places to practice your combat. But for now, I'd recommend finding an open place with a lot of ads that you can practice your rotation on. Preferably the ads with 60k health, because they'll actually die and allow you to do a full rotation for burst combos, and also it's a good measure of what a combo looks like, from full health to no health. But Vivek's Antlers is the original place for me. It's the place that I found, and it's the place where I've spent way too much time, but I've learned so much. Is it as simple as just going up to these ads and killing them? It can be, but we're here for practice. Before you start slaughtering these ads, I recommend just practice swapping weapons and getting familiar with that, as you'll be doing a lot of that. It may sound basic, but You need to learn to do it quicker and quicker and quicker. Next, learn to move and swap weapons at the exact same time. Just do that by running around and swapping weapons. And lastly, instead of running in a straight line, circle, swapping weapons the entire time. These small movements are all fundamental to accessing all your skills and abilities while you're in combat. Okay, so now we can get to the fighting part. Practice circling your opponent while you're attacking them, and try and stay behind them if you can. Once that becomes a little easier, we graduate. Practice getting familiar using all your skills and how they feel, as this will become very important later when animation canceling. Now that you're familiar with your attack skills and you've grown more comfortable with them, it's time to practice buffing up and keeping those buffs up while in combat. What are buffs, you may be asking? Buffs are like steroids. Good steroids. Using a buff makes everything that you do, including your skills, much more effective. And remember those little icons we talked about? Those are buffs. Keeping your buffs up is as simple as remembering to cast the ability that grants the player the buff. It can be tricky at first trying to remember to keep your buffs up, but what I found and I recommend to get better at making sure that your buffs are always up is to just passively buff no matter what you're doing. Walking through a city, just messing around, always just cycle through your buffs and mash your abilities and cast them. Plus, it looks pretty cool too, so why wouldn't you want to do that? And a big important thing is to go to your settings and make sure that Prevent Attacking Innocents is turned on. Trust me, you won't regret it. And then the next thing is light attack weaving. It's not very difficult. I just recommend you start out really slow, and as you do it more and more, go faster and faster and faster. What is light attack weaving? It's light attacking and then canceling the light attack by using a skill. So light attack, and as soon as you hit the button to do a light attack, immediately cast a skill to cancel it. Weave this in between every single one of your attacks and buffs, so that way you can get better at it. This is the fundamental concept for what animation canceling is, which is exactly what it sounds like. Animation canceling. Your character doesn't actually perform the animation, but the skill still goes off. This is by far one of the hardest things to make sure you can get right, and will take time to perfect. So I'm going to go over the types of animation canceling that you can do. The block cancel. In order to do this, simply hold block after casting an ability. The bash cancel, which can be performed by bashing immediately after casting an ability. The bar swap cancel, which can be done by casting an ability and immediately swapping to your back bar. And finally, the dodge cancel, which is done by casting an ability and going immediately into a roll dodge. These are the basics of combat, and when put all in together, it looks something like this. It not only looks good, but is very effective. So yeah, feel free to go into your fighting areas, your PvP zones, and go ahead and play. But I'm not done talking about combat just yet. Let's start with, what is burst damage? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is allowing a bunch of skills and abilities to all land at the exact same time, dealing a lot of damage in a short period. Which looks a little something like this.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more? Now that's a lot of damage.
Thank you, Phil. That, in summary, is what burst damage is. So what is a burst window? A burst window is the opportunity to unleash all that power all at once. Newer players find it extremely hard to find those burst opportunities and windows, but all it takes is a little bit of observation and you'll be able to burst anything and anyone. So what does that look like, and how do we find that window? There are quite a few ways you can find the opportunity to burst someone. And I'll start with when your opponent is going offensive. When you're taking damage from your opponent, they're busy damaging you, so that means they're not playing defensive. That gives you an opportunity to burst them while their defenses are down. This is probably easiest to see when you're outnumbered. There's a bunch of people on you, and they're all trying to attack you at once. They're not expecting you to turn around and then just blast them. So the best time to burst somebody might actually be when your health is really, really low, because they're too busy trying to secure the kill, and they're not paying attention to the fact that they could get turned on, which is the whole name of the game with burst, is having your burst to be very unexpected, hard to counter, hitting them all at once so they have little time to react, and that's why it's so deadly. That's why it's always very annoying when you get killed by a Nightblade. That's why burst is king in PvP, because it's unexpected and that makes it hard to counter. So learning about burst opportunities is very valuable for making sure that you can get kills and also in some situations stay alive. Because you know what they say, the best defense is good offense. I'd say the only really good way to practice getting in those situations is to be in PvP. I tried to do it over there in Vivek's Antlers to see if it was possible to train, but it's just not the same. You can, however, practice your timing, which is a big part of being able to burst anything. Preparing combos, making all your abilities work together, and also allowing your gear to work alongside that. If you're looking for a beginner guide to building your character with gear and such, I recommend going to check out TheRealGodzilla's videos. He's been doing a marathon of beginner guides on how to gear your character for PvP. I'll link it in the description of the videos. But I'm talking about combat, so back to how to practice your timing for burst. Every class has a skill that comes with it that you can use to combo with other skills and gear sets to achieve a burst combo. I'm gonna go over those skills. So the Dragonite has access to Whip and Leap. The Sorcerer has access to it through Crystal Weapon or Fragments, and also Curse. The Nightblade gets it from Grim Focus or the Spectral Bow proc. Templar gets it from its passive Burning Light. The Warden has Subterranean Assault and Deep Fissure. And Old Necro has Skelebones. Now, of course, these could change knowing the Zoss and them loving to fidget with their game, so that is how it is right now going into the Deadlands DLC. So training this is not very difficult. You just go to wherever it is that you're going to be fighting those ads, and you just figure out how the skill works, and you learn to time it up with other abilities and other combos, and you just keep practicing at it, and you'll get better at it eventually, and soon enough you'll be getting clips like this. Believe it or not every YouTuber's gameplay looks like this every time they log on to play this game. There's a lot of death, and there's a lot of restarting and learning and trying over again involved in trying to get clips like this. I'm saying starting out, don't try to compare yourself to people that you see on the internet. It's a bad habit to try and compare yourself to that level, as unless you're something else, you're not going to be able to get to that as soon as you start playing. Take this game one step at a time and remember to have fun. It's a game, not a sweat fest. And one more massive thing about PvP in this game is you need to have respect. You're not going to be able to grow if you already think you're the greatest thing that the world has to offer. So don't sweat it if you're not able to do very, very well within a month, 2 months, however long it may take. It takes time to get good at this game. I mean, look at my channel. I still keep some of the old gameplay that I have up on my channel so I can measure myself today. I mean, just look at this gameplay. Yeah, this was me at one point, as painful as this is to watch. But I've grown a lot. I've gotten a lot better at this game. All that to say, what I've made here today is a culmination of experience. 5 years in the making. So take it from me when I say the most important aspect of getting better at this game and its combat is simply time. And videos like this are aimed at viewers like you who really would like to get better at this game and not spend years trying to figure all this stuff out. So I pray this video found you well, and you also found it very helpful and informative and hopefully inspiring as well. This was a massive edit for me, so any support that you can show would be very appreciated. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, I'm asking you to subscribe. I know I don't do that, like ever. But for videos like this, if it can at least reach a few people and really help them out in getting to enjoy this game for what it has to offer, my job's complete. Thank you for watching, I love you, and have a good night.